value myself. And I mean, early on in my relationships, I could have given a lot more attention, like I said, to Sean, and not been all about my children.
Hmm.
I mean, I'm not going to get like a medal for being a great mom, you know. So I could have done more in that relationship. But after that, I would say that I just didn't have enough self-love. So I kept getting in these relationships and I knew that they weren't the best for me, but I was like, you know what? I would always try to look at the best in everyone and even myself. I'm like, I'd have excuse for everything.
Hmm.
Um, but I truly could not say that I love myself enough. Because if you love yourself, you wouldn't even allow certain things to happen
Hmm.
in certain situations. And I allowed a lot of things to slide by for many years. Um, Maybe because I didn't think that I would do better or deserve better.
Hmm.
And and you know, I went through all the toxic relationships and just be kinder to myself and kinder to others, you know. You have to be careful what you say to people. You
Hmm.
know, those things they don't disappear. I've
Hmm.
said some mean things to people that I've been in relationships with, and I'm not saying that they haven't said mean things to me, but
Hmm.
I can only take responsibility for myself. And when you call people names and degrade them, some of that stuff sticks with them for years.
Hmm.
And yeah, I just didn't, I wasn't a good person towards people when I felt like they cheated or they did me wrong. I was mean.
Hmm.
And you don't have to be that way. So
Like
yeah,
for you, like being a mother and obviously being a role model and having kids and them looking up to you, and even if they weren't your kids, with the things that you've experienced, you know, if you were to give them advice in regards to the past things that you have done, whether you regret it or done or not, what advice would you give a young person who looks up to you as a role model and says, hey, you know what, like I want to be like you? What advice would you give them?
well, I'm really close to my kids. We talk about everything. I always just tell them, just if something doesn't feel right, definitely don't do it because
Hmm.
our intuition is always very strong and it's always trying to tell us stuff. We just ignore it. But always don't just run away from things either. Like if you, for instance, if you're in a relationship with somebody and communication is so huge, just communicating your feelings, their feelings, and try to come to an understanding. I don't think there's ever a reason to stay with someone if there's cheating involved. There really isn't. Um, that is something that I don't think anybody should stay in a relationship for
Hmm.
because they don't respect you or you don't respect them. But
Your
if that
opinion on cheating. Why do you feel people cheat? Think people cheat in a relationship?
I think for different reasons. I think some people that they just honestly, I don't know exactly why people cheat, but it could be numerous reasons. Like for men, it could be like for my situation with Sean, I didn't really give him attention.
Hmm.
Um, I was so busy with my kids, and I mean, you have all these beautiful women that are dressed, to the tilt, coming on to you at some point, and you're like, I got to go home to this person who's like in her sweatpants and her hair's up in a ponytail. You know what I mean? It's tempting. So I get it. Like I understand that. Not saying it's right, but
Hmm.
I get it. But that's where you have to have communication with each other. Like he has to tell me. Like
Hmm.
I think he tried. I think I was just like, what? I'm comfortable now.
Yeah, but I think when it comes to men, what women don't realize is that, like, it's not what you said. You know, you think he tried. It's not what we think we try. Is that I think people when they're in relationships, when like you're laid back until given a reason not to be. And I think where people when they get into a relationship where it's like, okay, if you're a woman, you don't want to be that nagging bitch. You don't want to be that girl that's constantly, who is that? Blah blah blah. Blah. And
Yeah,
guys have this thing where you know what, if she doesn't bring it up, she don't talk about it, everything's good.
right.
And that's where the
That is true. That is,
miscommunication happens. And then all of a sudden you find yourself in this what I call quicksand relationship, where it's like every move, like when you're standing in quicksand, every move that you make pulls you that much deeper in until it reaches neck level, and you start choking, and you're like, I can't breathe, I can't breathe, and you know when you can't breathe, you start to try to fight for your life, but understand, just like take for example what happened with George Floyd. He was a knee on his neck, fighting for his life, saying he can't breathe, but he was not in a position of power when someone's pressing a knee on your neck to get out of that situation. And it's the same thing when people are in relationships. It's like they're looking for this person to step in and pull them, the person off of them, to say, hey, you know what, like, I know you can't breathe. But I think that's where, again, you look at life in general, and especially obviously like with what happened, George Floyd life. And I mean, even the girl who filmed the video, she filmed the video, and yes, without her video, we wouldn't even be here in this situation today, because we would never hear about it, we'd never see it. But even for her, she said today, she goes, it was a great win, but I wish I could have done more. In the sense of, rather than stand there, and that's what I've always
could have saved his life, maybe.
Exactly, and that's why I would tell people, I'm like, if you see me in that situation, and you see me technically drowning, because that's what you are, you're drowning in that moment.
Yeah, you're gonna be videotaping.
Listen, I'll take a brick, hit that motherfucker in the head, and get
exactly.
him
Charge him, do something.
Exactly, and I think that's where people need to do that, and that's why for me, like when it comes to my friends who are in relationships, issues and stuff, they're always like, D, you're so hard with me. But I'm like, listen, I'm hard with you because I'm your real friend. Like, real friends tell you the truth.
Exactly.
Fake friends tell you what you want to fucking hear. And I'm not here to shit because if I care about you, I'm going to
be honest.
I'm going to be honest, and I'll be like, yo, you're making bad decisions. In the end, obviously, the decisions are yours to make. But I'm not going to do my due diligence as a friend. And that's where a lot of times, too, where, with certain people that were in situations like yours, where it got exhausting for me. Because I'm watching them self-destruct themselves over and over, as you said, going through multiple relationships with the same result. And I'm like, yo, it's not the guy. Fucking you. Like, you need to accept that. Yes, it takes two to tango. But if you want a better result, make a better choice. Or maybe take time out. Make time out, as you said, to self-love yourself. Because if you don't love yourself, you're no good for anybody in a relationship. Because what I think people do.
Well, I think also we always try to change people, you know? And I remember Sean's sister told me this years ago, Kim. She says, change yourself and you'll change Sean. Don't try to change him. Just change yourself. And I was like, what? What does that mean? Like, I just didn't understand, and I get it now. Like, I mean, that's what I've been doing the last 2 years. I changed myself completely from the inside out. And as I change myself, everybody around me is changing. Or if they don't, they drop off. You're not friends with them anymore,
Well, that's the thing. I think when it comes to people, and I say this, I always stress this a lot with people who have gone through what you've gone through, because I've gone through it. I've gone in bad relationships and in and out of good ones and bad ones, and trying to, you always have the question, like, why has it happened to me? Like, I'm a good person. I put out good energy. I love, and then you still get treated like shit. But what I've learned in a sense in those situations is that, the people that we meet in life, doesn't matter whether it's friends, family, or relationship, if every single interaction that you have with somebody, if they're not teaching you something, like if you don't walk away from that conversation going, I learned some shit, then you're not growing. If you're not growing, then you're not building. And if you're not building with that person, then what fucking purpose do you have being in my life? You're just taking space. That's why I tell people, it's like, you have to really assess the people, it's truth in what they say, you
Mhm.
are who you surround yourself with.
Yeah,
You know, you
so
surround
true.
yourself around shitty people, people number one that are in bad, even positive people. Where, for example, you could be in a great relationship with somebody,
Hmm.
and then you get that girlfriend who's gone through what you've gone through, and they become jaded, and then all of a
Right.
sudden, when they start seeing their friend being happy, being like finally coming into that place where like, oh my god, I found a really good guy. You get that one friend chirping, oh, he's gonna cheat, girl. He's no good, girl. He's gonna
Right.
fucking this girl,
Yeah,
because they, and I'm like, and I was telling them
because
like,
they've been
what
through stuff.
exactly? And I'm like,
Yeah,
what your situation is your situation.
that's
Everyone's
true.
situation is different. I have no right to tell someone what to do, but as my friend, I'm the type of person I'll speak once on it. If you come to me, you're like, hey D, you know what? Like, I don't know what to do with this guy. If the guy's a good guy, I'll vouch for him. If he's a fucking scumbag, I'm gonna tell you why he's a scumbag. I'm gonna tell you the things that you don't want to fucking hear or don't want to see. But then once I say it, it's up to you.
Yeah.
After that decision, if you make a wrong decision, I don't want to hear it again because it's just gonna be a repeating cycle
Yeah,
of
and
me.
sometimes people just have to go through their stuff. You know what I mean? Sometimes they need
Everyone.
to, they got to go through the hardship. They got to,
Mm-hmm.
until they're done, they're going to keep going through it, you know?
And, and,
And
and
you got to
that
let
brings
them go through it.
that brings up my next point, which is a good thing you said that.
Yeah.
Is that do you feel, and this is just in general in life, because like for example, today they were in the trial they were talking about, throughout that trial, they tried to paint George Floyd because of his past
Oh, yeah, he has
as a
passed.
bad guy,
Right. But he
and I
doesn't
think
deserve to die.
exactly, and the thing is that I think we in society we find that people, especially now in the social media era, where we deal with so many judgmental assholes. Today, I love having you on because I think this is the first time for people who, as you said, who said to you, "Oh, you're crazy for leaving Sean," or "You're crazy, like you had the world, you had money and this and that," and then when situations happen like that with someone of public status, they blame you. Like they're like, well, she must be crazy. It must be her fault because no woman who has that person
Would leave.
who's a celebrity who makes a lot of money is gonna just throw that away. They're
Right.
gonna they're gonna
Oh, a
and
lot of
that
people stay. Trust
of
me, a
course,
lot of people
of
stay.
course. But for you is that do you feel like when you've made bad choices in life in your earlier days, you should be judged by that the rest of your life?
No, of course not, because we all have the ability to change, and most of the time we are going to change. If you're
Mm-hmm.
not, you're going to repeat those cycles, like I said. I think we all are trying to be better people. Sometimes we just don't have direction.
Mm-hmm.
Also, everything comes from our childhood, how we were raised. If you don't have the best role models, it takes you a little bit longer to learn these things in life, versus somebody that has better role model.
Who was your role model growing up?
My mom.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my mom raised me. She was a single mom. But she made her mistakes. My mom was not affectionate. She never told me she loved me. Um, I just remember my mom paying the bills,
Mm-hmm.
and barely can do that sometimes. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she supported us. That's what I felt like. She put a roof over our head and she supported us in a way of like making sure we had food and stuff. But I didn't get the affection. I wasn't taught about relationship. My dad was off, starting another family. So I didn't have the best role model. So at a very young age, I jumped into a relationship. And then that was the beginning of me trying to navigate on how to deal with a relationship.
So do you feel from your mom not having giving you that affection plays into a part of what you said, when you were in even a relationship with Sean, like not knowing how to
Yes, give
respond?
them what they need. Yes, of course. I mean, his family's really big on hugging. I didn't
Hmm.
grow up in a family that hugged. I never had my mom hug me or anybody, so it's not normal for me. So like his brother would come over and they would all be looking at me like, okay, like you're not gonna hug? And I was just
Hmm.
like, oh, okay. I mean, it literally took me like a year to do that because it was weird, you know?
Are
I
you a
mean,
hugger
well,
now?
huh?
Are you a hugger now?
Yes, I am a hugger now. Exactly. And they would force me to hug. And I was like, okay. And I loved it. I did
Hmm.
love hugging, but I just wasn't used to it. It
Hmm.
takes time. You know, we're all taught different things. You can't blame someone for not knowing you, but you can teach them, you know, just teach them. Just say,
But they
hey, you
have to be
know,
willing to learn though, because that's the difference.
you
People
have to be
people
willing to
say like,
learn.
oh yeah, people say, oh, teach me. I'm like, but are you willing to learn? Like, are you willing to
Right.
open yourself up? Because you
That's
could, it's
true.
like, for example, take you being as a trainer. Like, I inspire to look like you, and you're a fucking female. And I'm like, yo, like I wake up in the morning, I get depressed. I'm like, yo, this fucking girl. Like, that's why I said to you, I'm like, one day training with you, I probably end up in the emergency in a wheelchair because I'm like,
I'll be easy
I
on you.
I watch your videos and I'm just like, this girl is the Terminator. She's a machine. She's not
I've
human.
had to learn to tone it down. I
Yeah,
have hurt some people.
I'm sure you have because I'm like, it doesn't
I
make
don't even
sense for
know because I've been training this way for so long that
so
like
long.
that
It's
I'll
normal
get
to
a
you.
beginner that will come with me and I always ask them a trillion questions. Oh, I've been training for a long time. Oh, I've had this trainer. Oh, that trainer. I'm like, oh, okay. I remember I got one girl, and she's like, I have the best trainers. I mean, they always train me hard. I was like, oh,
Hmm.
really? Okay, I better step it up with her. So I did. I put her through such a hard workout, and she called me the next day, and she said that her ankles were broken. And I'm like,
Yeah.
your ankles are broken? And I'm like, I don't think so. And I go, are you walking? And she's like, yeah, I'm walking. And I said, well, then they're not broken because you wouldn't be walking. And she's like, I'm going to sue you. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like,
Well, I know you. I mean, I know you when it. That's why
I
like
was like,
it
maybe I'm
frightens me with
training her
legs.
too hard.
You do because I mean, honestly, when I see you do legs, it frightens me because I don't. I'm the guy. I do not do legs. Like I do not do legs because I
I
have
do
bad
not
knees,
do
bad
legs.
arthritis. I just do not like. If I go to the gym, legs are not happening. That's out of the equation.
You're
Don't
one of
ask me to do.
those. You're one of those
Yes,
that
I am one of those, and I admit it. And I am one of those people because
bigger
I
upper body.
I remember when I did because my ex was like you. She was a trainer, and
I will
I
make,
did.
look, even Rick just said it. He said Ursula will make you do legs. That's right. I made my
I will
son do
not
it.
do legs. I don't care what I will not because I'll tell you why. I
But you
remember I
have
did like
to. I mean,
I I don't gotta do a damn thing. I am not doing legs.
I'm
Like
not
the
doing
most legs. Listen, you want to get me on a bike? I'll do that shit.
just
You
start
want
off
to you
slow. You don't have to go like all out, you
It's not
know?
even about slow. One, I've got really bad arthritis in my knees for starters.
Okay, here we go with the excuses.
It's not excuses. Two, I'll tell you the reason why. Because I remember when I went back in the day. You know,
He
I was
said Ursula.
working
Uh-huh, sorry.
I was working private security, and I
Uh-huh.
remember like we had a detail that I was like dealing with, and I remember having to run after somebody, and this was like I
Oh,
decided
and
to
you were
make a
sore?
mistake. Sore, you know when you're having sex and you get that leg spasm in the back of your leg, and when the guy's on you, missionary guys, I think you know what I'm talking about, and you know that like okay, I gotta keep trying to straighten out my leg. I don't want to fuck up the rhythm and shit. Well, that was like me working because I literally remember running behind my guy and I had my arm on him. And all of a sudden, next thing you know, I was down on the ground. He was looking back at me. And I'm like, and literally there was a crowd of people around on a red carpet. And I'm literally like, oh my God, I can't straighten my leg. And it was from that day on, I said, I came home, I remember I got into the biggest fight with my ex. And I was like, I can't believe you have me fucking training legs before I have to go to work. I'm never doing this. And literally, I kid you not, since that day, I will do a bike ride. That's the most is I bike ride every day. So I bike ride every day.
Good for you.
But you will never see me. I have not. I kid you not. I go to when I do train, go to the gym. If I need to do legs, I kick to get my legs into shape because I used to be a kickboxer. So I'll kick boards and whatever. But the last time I can say to you that I sat in the fucking machine.
So you're not going to squat?
No, squatting does not happen. The only
Well,
way I'm squatting is
what do you think
when I'm
sitting
going
in
to
a
the
chair
bathroom.
is?
When I'm going to take a shit or talking to you on this podcast, then I'll be squatting. But in the sense of other than that, I do not do squats, my friend. I will vicariously live squatting through you, through watching your videos.
I do a lot of leg stuff.
You do a lot
of leg stuff. And when I have somebody do upper body, I'm always doing legs with upper body. They're like, this isn't leg day. And I'm like, no, it's not, but just do it. Like, what do you mean? They're like questioning me sometimes. Like, I thought we just did legs. And I'm like, just do it. Just, why do you have to question me? Like,
but you have everything. So for you, like, what's the body part that people, because I mean, I look at you and I'm like,
my worst body
perfect.
part?
No, not your worst body part. Like, because you got so many great body parts. You've got ass, you've got legs, you've got calves that stand
I
out.
don't have calves.
You do have calves. I've seen your
I
calves.
do not have calves. And I don't ever train calves. So we talk about something we never train. I never train calves.
So how do you maintain? How do you maintain
all that jumping I do?
Okay.
So you a lot of times when you're jumping, you're on your toes. So I mean, it has to be that the stair climber.
Okay.
But I never I mean, I did early on, and when I was competing. But as soon as I was done competing, I'm like, I'm never training calves ever again, and I haven't. I don't even train biceps.
So I know for you, like, of being a personal trainer, and then you took your next journey into real estate. How did that come about for you? Like, what made you want to get into real estate and flipping houses and stuff? And again, where is your passion? Is it more the fitness, or is it more now into the real estate?
I'm going more towards the real estate. So yeah, I was training a client. She was a broker. Mm-hmm. And we were just talking, and I was like, yeah, I've always wanted to flip houses. She's like, yeah, you should do it. Just like conversation we're having. But you know how you have a conversation with people all the time, and you're like, yeah, I'm going to do this, and you just never do. Mm-hmm. And so this is how crazy it is. One day I kept thinking about it. Like, I just kept visioning it. Like, they say the power of the mind and the vision of I saw myself doing it. Mm-hmm. And one day I laid down on the couch, I fell asleep, and I woke up to an infomercial. You're going to think this is funny. Into an infomercial on real estate. Okay. You could buy these tapes and you can learn how to flip houses. And I said, you know what? I think I'm going to buy those. I'm going to learn how to flip houses. So I bought them. I think they were like $60. The next day, I get a call from a real estate guy, and I'm like, oh, it must be from the tapes I just bought. So before you know it, he talked me into signing up to this program on real estate. And I'm like, that's weird. I just bought the tapes. What do I need this program for? But anyways, whatever. I'll join. I mean, it took him a minute to talk me into it because it wasn't cheap. Mm-hmm. I must have got lucky or I'm blessed because there's a lot of bad companies out there. And I started with this program online on how to flip houses. And within a few months, I was putting in offers on my first house. They literally walk you through it. They have the best modules, and you just follow the modules, and then you have a coach, and then they walk you through it. And they're like, okay, well, now you know what to do. It's time to put in offers. And I'm like, offers? And they're like, yeah, like on buying a house. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm like, I'm scared. Like, I don't know if I could do this. And so they kept pushing me and pushing me and pushing me. And then I was like, they're like, just put in as many offers as you can. And they figure out how to do the numbers. It's all about numbers. And so I was like, okay. So I just started putting offers in, and then somebody took it, and they accepted my offer. And I was like, shit, what? How am I going to get the money for this? I don't have any money. Like, what am I doing? I'm like, what the hell is going on? And then I remember talking to the coach, and she's like, you'll find the money. And I'm like, I'll find the money. Okay, I guess you just think I have money laying around. And they're like, you know what, you should call and talk to some of the closest people to you. And I'm like who? Who am I going to call? My mom doesn't have money. My mom was frugal her whole life, She always said she never had money. So I was like, okay, let me just try it. I'll call my brother and I'll call my mom. And my brother's like, yeah, I'll give you some money. And I'm like, what? You will? Yeah, I'll support you. So I was like, all right, I need more money. So let me call my mom. And I called my mom. And my mom, can I borrow some money? Well, how much? And I told her 100 grand.
Hmm.
Okay. I was like, are you kidding me? My whole life you said you didn't have money, and now all of a sudden you have 100 grand. So she helped. It was basically my brother and my mom. They helped me put
Okay.
down money. So I put an offer in a house, and I put down the deposit, and I just started flipping. I mean, they literally guided me. I would text them and say, "Look, this is what's going on. I don't know what to do." They would guide me through it. And yeah, I did my first property. Um, and then I met the owner of the company, and we started dating.
Okay.
And he really helped me a lot, like really helped me a lot with just, I mean, he doesn't live here in California, so it wasn't like he could be there at my properties, but he would guide me. So like if I had a question or I wasn't sure about something, I'd call him and I'd be like, I don't know what to do. What do you think I should do? And he's like, do this, that, and that, you know? And I just did it. It's kind of like online training. If somebody is
Okay.
going to tell you how to do something, either you can sit around and not do it, or you can like follow what they give you. If they give you a
Hmm.
video and you just watch it exactly how they're doing it and you mimic that, that's what I did. It was like anytime somebody gave me advice, whether it was his coach, because I worked one on one with his coaches or one of
Okay.
his coaches. And then if I had any big questions, I would ask him, but he's super busy because he's doing tons of real estate. So I didn't want to just call him every 2 seconds, be like, can you hold my hand through this? So if it was a
Hmm.
big question, I'd ask him. But if it wasn't, I would ask the coach that I was working with, and it walked me through the process. And
Hmm.
I hired a contractor because when you're first starting out, like you don't know anything about construction, so it's important that you hire a contractor, and you always have to interview them. And I just took the one that I thought that was the best out of all of them,
Okay.
not the lowest, not the highest. Took the middle guy, and I flipped my first property, and I had basically the contractor is going to do all of the work, like all of the construction, but when it comes to
Okay.
picking out design, that's you. I mean, he's not going to
Hmm.
pick out the design. I mean, he's just doing the work.
Okay.
So yeah, I just started. Um, the guy I was dating guided me through a few ideas and things to look at, like go on house. I would pull up houses that have recently sold that were like more expensive in the area, and I'd go on um, open houses and see what the latest thing is in the houses now. So that's really how I started to learn design,
Okay.
and I started picking out design, and that really ended up being um, my knack. It was the design part. I didn't even know I had that in me, to be honest.
Hmm.
And then I went from my first one, then I went on to my second one, my third, my fourth. I'm in my fifth right now. So I'm in my fifth flip property. And on my fourth, no, not my fourth, my third flip, I got rid of the contractor. I solely did it on my own. I mean, I didn't do the construction. I hired out the construction. But it's a big difference when it's um, you have a contractor doing all the
Hmm.
work versus you don't have a contractor now, you got to hire all the work. There is a huge difference. And that is where I learned everything. That house was the most stressful house I ever did, but that's where I learned all my lessons was in that house. People taking advantage of me, looking at me as a woman, I don't know anything, and within a few words of conversation, they could tell that I didn't know enough.
Hmm.
And so there were plenty of people standing in line to take advantage of me going, this girl doesn't know a thing. But I got smart really quick when I started realizing that people were taking advantage of me because always there's somebody out there that will tell you. I mean, I had some
Hmm.
pretty good workers on the job that say, what did that guy charge you? And I tell them that he's ripping you off. He's
Hmm.
overcharging you. And I'd be like, really? Well, what do you think I should be paid? And I just started talking to the workers that were out there helping me, and they're like, don't pay more than this. And I'd be like, all right, thank you. And it was the ones that looked out for me that helped me the most. And then I started firing people left and right. Like, nope, nope, I'm not going to you start to see people clearly, their intentions. Some people they just want to get in and take advantage of you. And there's other people that
Hmm.
really want to help you.
Help you.
Yeah. And so I
So.
had both. So now I'm back to hiring a contractor, but it's different now that I'm on my fifth house. The contractor that I did the first two properties with, we
Hmm.
parted ways. And then we came back together now. And so now we are investing together. So we are partners. So he puts in 50% and I put in 50%. And so now he's invested. So it's, and he has to show me everything now. So I know what he's spending and he can't lie. And he already knows that I've flipped the house on my own. So he knows I
Mm-hmm.
don't really need him, you know. But we both found that it's better to partner because there's no point in trying to do all the work yourself. I mean, yeah, you can make all the money, but you're going to find so many problems along the way. It's so much
Of course,
easier to hire someone that knows what they're doing and
of
that's
course.
their specialty. And we were just talking the other day at lunch, and he goes, "You know what? I'm so glad that I'm not having to pick out all that stuff." He goes, "I can't stand design." And I said, "You know what? I can't stand construction. I just don't want to do it." So it's like a perfect little marriage between us, and we trust each other. We worked together before, and now it's easy. You know, I don't have to be at the property every day. We just meet when we have to talk design, and he tells me what measurements, and I go on and I purchase everything.
Well, I mean,
And I always ask him too, you know, it's not, I'm not selfish. I don't just like go pick out design and put it in. I always go, "What do you think of this?" And you know, he does the same thing with construction. He doesn't just build a kitchen. He'll go, "What do you think of this? Do you think we should do this?" And we always seem to be on the same page. We, you know, he's flipped tons of houses. We both have the same style. So yeah, it's really good.
what do you think for you has been the harder medium, not just as a woman, but just in general, of either A, uh, being in a relationship and trying to find balance when you're by yourself, being in a relationship and being out of that relationship and having to start over with kids, or starting a business on your own, or personal training clients.
Oh my God. Everything is hard. I'm not gonna lie. It's like it's just a different kind of hard, you
Mm-hmm.
know? It makes you a stronger person, I could say that, because I have no one to rely on but myself. You know, at the end of the day, it's me that has to get up and go to work and make money. It's me that, you know, I don't have anybody that I can turn to and say, "Hey, I don't feel like going to work today," or "Can you help me with this?" I don't have that. And even when I was in my relationships, besides with Sean, because Sean was very giving in that relationship, you know, I mean, I didn't work. So, but any relationship after that, I've had to work my ass off, you
But
know,
do you feel you don't have, you say you don't have that? Is that you have become too much of
independent.
an independent that you don't want to ask for help, or B, as many people are, they're afraid to ask for help because of either A, past situations where they've been screwed over, where they then lump everybody in the same category, where they're like, "Oh, I've been fucked over by this person, that person. Okay, you know what? Everyone's gonna fuck me over." Or they're just afraid to ask for help because they look at that as a sign of weakness.
Yes, that is me. I'm afraid to ask for help because
Either because of weakness or because of fear of being fucked over.
oh no, not because I'm going to get fucked over. It's because of feeling like it's a weakness. You know, I think because I was a stay-at-home mom for so long and then, you know, Sean had to give me child support. He wasn't happy about that part. Not that he didn't want to help me out, but there was a lot of conflict between the fact that he worked so hard for his money and that he had to give me money, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I and then, and I didn't want to have to take the money when I have three kids, you know, and I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't working. And I think that it stuck with me for so long that like I was like, I'm gonna do everything on my own, you know. And even though I did accept the child support, I still was working all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And another reason why I transitioned out of, or I am transitioning out of training people, and I don't know, I might still always be training people because it's such a huge passion of mine, but I don't want to trade my time for money anymore. It is draining.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah, you can make good money personal training, but you can also not make money personal training because the way the business is people come and go. And
Mm-hmm.
when when priorities come in, the trainer is the first person they're going to cut off
Mm-hmm.
because it's not. a priority. It's, you know, it's not a necessity. Anybody can go to the park and work out. Like, you don't have to have a trainer, you know?
Hmm.
Um, so every time I would go on a vacation, I was super stressed out. I was like, oh my God, I'm losing a week worth of work, you know? And it's,
Hmm.
I just don't want to live that way anymore. You know, I don't want to live, I want to be able to make money even when I'm not working,
Hmm.
or make enough money to where I can take a vacation, you know?
Hmm.
Because, you know, right now I'm just flipping houses because you got to build up that equity. And then eventually I want to be able to buy houses and rent them out, because that is where you're going to make your money, where you can do whatever you want, and you have that income coming in and they're paying down your mortgage. That is where I ultimately want to go to. And, you know, or Airbnb out your house. My sister's already been doing that for years. She's got a house in Thailand, she's got a house in Hawaii and two condos in Hawaii, and she just Airbnbs it out, and they're paying down her mortgage, and she even makes money off of it. So
But
that's eventually.
there's this thing that, you know, I was going to ask you with what retrospect what you said. It's like, you know, people, I feel at times, and women per se, I get at times where they're in, as you said, you know, being an independent, being afraid to ask for that help. And sometimes I always say that, like, you know, and you see it happen all the time. Women have this sort of thing where they feel once either A, they reach a certain age, or they have a bunch of kids, that they come into this mental zone where they're like, because they've been doing it on their own for so long, that they don't even really see it, that they're self-sabotaging possible good relationships with men who legitimately could be the best partner for them because they're so independent, or they get to a certain point, as you said, in life where they're like, you know, nobody's going to want me because I have kids, you know, and they reach a certain age where they start thinking that. Like, for you, do you ever come into that zone where you feel, okay, you know what, like, maybe it's okay for me to, like, take that help if it's given genuinely? Because a lot of them, I know that, like, I know in my situation, I've had women who have dated who've had 3 kids, and they're, you know, but they were in a relationship for a long period of time where they felt they had a fourth kid with their partner because their partner was just
Mm,
not there, and
yeah.
they were doing all the things and being and taking care of things and whatever. They finally said, okay, I'm out. But then once they got out of that situation, they were on their own. They finally had that independence, that freedom of not answering to somebody, that being able to do what they want and go at their own pace and live their dreams without having to worry about thinking about somebody else's. They box themselves,
Mm.
where now they just like, okay, this is how I got to be in order to survive, because I'm afraid if I let myself open too much or even a little bit, that I could lose what I worked so hard to get out of that place where, as you say, they weren't feeling good about themselves. Do you ever have that internal struggle, or think for yourself, like, maybe the reasons why my relationships and things haven't worked out because maybe I'm too independent?
I don't think you could be too independent. I mean, it is intimidating for some guys when they see that you are independent.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I mean, if I intimidate somebody because I'm independent, then they're just not the person for me,
Mm-hmm.
because I have to take care of my kids, and yeah, I'm a go-getter. I try to always try to figure out ways that I can make money. Um, but I think the hardest thing for me is to ask for help from anybody I've been with. And I don't
Why
know.
is that?
I honestly, I don't know. I don't know why it's hard for me. I don't want people to think that I am taking advantage of them, but yet I've had many people take advantage of me. So many people, men even, get in relationships with me. And next thing you know, I'm like taking care of them. I'm like, what? Like, how am I taking care of you now? And
Mm-hmm.
and that's another reason why I cannot date younger, like too young, because I end up feeling like I'm the mom again, you know?
What's too
Or,
young?
well, I dated somebody 13 years younger than me, or
Okay.
6 years. and that was too young.
But do
Maybe
you, I mean,
now,
do you
maybe
feel
now
that? I
that
mean,
he's older, but
do
at the
you truly
time,
feel that age is a number? Because I mean, they always say age is nothing but a number. I
no,
think it's
I
all a
don't
mental
know.
space.
It is a mental space, but like, okay, for instance, I was 40 and he was 26.
Okay,
That was too young. He was
definitely.
way too young. And he was still learning how to be a man. And in
Hmm.
fact, he said he learned how to be a man through being with me. But
Hmm.
I needed a man. I didn't need to another
Yeah.
child, you
Hmm.
know? So that's the difficult part, I think, is having to not have to mother somebody, you
So,
know?
what are the qualities you look for in a man when
I
you?
do look at age now. I'm not going to lie. I do. I
Okay.
mean, I always ask somebody their age. Also, another reason why I ask age is because if they're too young, most men are going to want to have a family at some point. I've had my
So, what's
children,
that age for the people the potential viewers out there that may have a chance to win your heart? What's that
40 and
age?
up, 40
Okay.
and up. Yeah.
Okay. And what's
So,
the ideal man? What's the guy for you?
I mean, as long as they're not like, they don't have to be super rich if that's what, most people are
Hmm.
looking for. I'm not looking for rich. I'm looking for somebody with a good heart. And I
Hmm.
look to see how they treat other people.
Hmm.
You can learn a lot about someone about how they talk to other people. So if you
Hmm.
hear them bad mouthing people, talking shit about their exes, talking shit about their family, um, their workers, then that's who they are.
Hmm.
And I don't want to be with somebody who's not kind to people anymore. Um, because if they're not kind to others, they're not going to be kind to you.
Hmm.
It's just a matter of time because everybody's always acting on their best behavior in the beginning.
Hmm.
And then that slowly starts to come out.
Hmm.
So yeah, I guess what I look for now is not what I was looking for even a couple of years ago. I used to be always about the physical, oh, if they don't work out, they're not in shape, they're
So, do
not.
they have to be a bodybuilder?
No, I haven't dated a bodybuilder since Milos. I haven't
Hmm.
dated a bodybuilder. I mean, I've gone out with a few guys that, are bodybuilders, but I'm not like in long-term relationships.
Okay.
Um, I mean, my last guy was in real estate. Yeah, he works out. I mean, everybody has worked out. I'm not going
Hmm.
to date somebody that's completely out of shape that has no interest in working out, especially when this is my passion. But do
Hmm.
they have to be super ripped and, working out like crazy? No, they don't. I
Okay.
care more about the mind now and I care more about the heart.
Hmm.
That is what, I mean, one day we're all gonna, our bodies are gonna go, everything's gonna go, and what are you gonna be left with? Their
Maybe
heart.
not you, because you're at this rate, you look like your buddy ever go anytime
So,
soon. So I
you
think
know
you'll
what
be
I
in the
mean?
grave with
It's
abs
like,
still.
you know what I mean? It's like everything's changed for me, especially since I've become more spiritual. You know, I mean,
So,
I'm in a whole nother group of people too now. So I'm around a lot more aware people and people that are conscious of others. So I'm not even in the same group of people anymore.
someone asked, do they have to train legs to date you?
For sure. For sure, legs. It's the first thing I'm going to train you on. Yeah. But you know what I mean? It's like my idea. I mean, of course, we want to be physically attracted to somebody,
Hmm.
But
Black, white, Spanish. Do you have a
I do
preference?
not. I do not
Hmm.
have a preference. Like I said, it comes from the heart.
Hmm.
I mean, like for instance, now what I'm starting to see in men is when they start talking and I see how smart they are and how nice they are. And I
Hmm.
don't mean like they're just being nice to you. I mean, they're nice to all their friends. And their
Hmm.
friends have oh my God, he's such a great guy, and
Hmm.
everybody has so much to say about them. That's when I start to feel my attraction. I'm starting to go, oh my God,
Hmm.
really? Like so many people think you're so nice and so great and they have only amazing things to say about you. That I'm starting to find more attractive now
Hmm.
than the
So
physical.
So I know you recently went on a spiritual journey, on a trip. Tell me about that. What was that experience like for you, and where did you go, and what did you do there?
Oh, so a couple months ago, I went to Costa Rica to Soltara,
Hmm.
which is a healing center for ayahuasca. And
Actually, hold that thought. Hold that thought, guys. We're just hopping in right now. You're probably a little bit late to the party, but tonight joining us, Ursula, Alberto, live on Hot Topics Celeb TV, Hot Topics Radio TV, podcast After Dark. I'm your host, Dteflon of the MIC. Don't forget, you can join us each and every Tuesday. Special guest, Hot Topics in conversation with some of the most influential faces in entertainment. And every Sunday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, live on HotTopicsCelebTV.com. We do Hollywood Legends in conversation with some of your favorite actors, film, television. Next week, upcoming on this Sunday, from BET's Family Business and Uncut Gems, Sean Ringgold. The following week after that, from the Power series, for all you Power fans out there, Shane Johnson, Cooper Sachs will be in the building. And tonight, joining us, Hot Topics Radio TV podcast After Dark, Ursula, Alberto in the building. If you missed this podcast and you want to watch it in full, don't forget the replay will be airing this Saturday, 8 p.m. Just go to the link in the bio, Hot Topics Celeb TV, and subscribe also to the channel on YouTube. And you can make sure you don't miss this playback. Continue what you're saying.
okay, so somebody was asking what we're discussing. So what we're discussing right now is my spiritual journey and my trip to Costa Rica. So yeah, I've always wanted to do ayahuasca, um, but I feel like with that situation, it's something that it calls for you, if that makes
Mm-hmm.
sense. It's not
Okay.
something, when the time is right, as well, I'll never tell anybody, oh, you should do ayahuasca, because um, it's something that you're going to have to feel within yourself. And when the time
Okay.
is right, you'll be called to do it.
Okay.
But yeah, I felt like broken in my heart. And one day I just went on Instagram and I just opened up this thing and this guy was talking about ayahuasca and I was like, wow, that's so cool. Like I've always wanted to do that. And I just sent him a DM and I'm like, where did you go? And he's like, Soltara. It's like the best place ever. I'm like, okay, cool, thanks. So I looked it up and I was like, it's in Costa Rica. And I'm like, all right. And I booked it. And within 4 days, I was going to Costa Rica. And um,
Someone said, what's the name of the healing center you went to there? Can I look it up?
Soltara,
How do you
Soltara,
spell it?
Soltara. It's in Costa Rica. It means to let go in Spanish. So what's so funny about that story is the guy that I DM'd is the owner of Soltara that
Okay.
recommended it. But anyways, so I didn't find that out till later. But anyway, so I flew there. You had to fly into San Jose. You had to spend one night in a hotel and get there the night before, because in the morning you're going to meet your crew, like the
Mm-hmm.
people that you're going to be doing ayahuasca with. It's a week. There's a 7 day, a 12 day, and a 5 day. I did the 7 day. So yeah, I mean, I went by myself, and I with 18 people I've never met. Everybody was there for the first time. Nobody had done it except one girl had tried ayahuasca before.
Mm-hmm.
And I was scared. First of all, I've never even traveled alone by myself, let
Mm-hmm.
alone go to another country and taking plant medicine with like 18 people I've never met, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this is the most amazing place, especially for your first time. I would highly suggest going there if you can get out there, because the way they take care of you and um, prep you for it,
Mm-hmm.
you have to change your diet. You have to eat certain foods before you even intake the medicine. You can't have sex, masturbate. You can't have any processed foods, anything spicy, no alcohol, no drugs. And yes, because you want to
You got
have
me
your
at the
system.
camp masturbate part.
I
Because
know
I
a
don't know if I
lot
can
of
fucking,
people were
I don't know
upset.
if I can go that. I don't know if I can do everything else on that list, but
I knew you were going to
that,
say
I don't
that.
know, I
I
don't
knew
know
you.
about that part.
A lot of people were upset about that part, but you know what? Hey, it was easy for me. So, anyways, Yeah, so I went there. We did 4 nights ceremony. So 2 nights, 2 nights in a row. We had a break in between, and then we had 2 more nights. And so this one was held by Shishibo healers that come from Peru.
Mm-hmm.
And there's different cultures. There's, Colombian, Peruvian. This one was Peruvian, and they have their healers there. And basically, they make up this tea that you drink that tastes like shit. It is the worst tasting tea ever. In fact, every time I drink it now, right before I'm about to drink it, I feel like I have to throw up.
Okay.
But anyways, you go through a purging. Not everybody purges, but it's actually good to purge because that is all of the stuff that's within you that needs to come out comes out within the purging.
Okay.
So purging could be throwing up, shitting, uh, crying, laughing, shaking. All of these are normal things that you would go through, and mostly what people go through is the shitting and the throwing up.
Mm-hmm.
And so, anyways, you drink this medicine, and then you lay down, and you're in a maloka, which is like it's like a cabin sort of thing, and you lay
Okay.
on your bed. We all have individual beds that we lay on, and you just lay there until it affects you, and it's undescribable what you go through. Everybody's experience is completely different. Not anybody's was the same. Maybe the only
Mm-hmm.
thing that could be the same is the visuals, because some people go through visuals first, and other people do not get that at all.
Okay.
Um, I definitely had the visuals, so I will try to explain it as well as I can. It's really, really hard because like I said, it's sometimes I'm trying to figure it out myself. Exactly did I see and go through?
Mm-hmm.
But I went through visuals first, which was just like a lot of colors and shapes, and I felt like I was in a fun land. Basically, I was like, "Whoo!" They were going by, and I was like, "Wow, this is so amazing! Like all these colors and shapes and everything." And then whoop, it stops,
Mm-hmm.
and then I start to see people in my family one by one. I saw
Okay.
Sean. I saw my kids. I saw my mom. I'm having full conversations with these people and talking to them. Like it's almost like you're in a dream, but you're conscious. So meaning I could open my eyes and I can sit up in my bed and look around and I'm like, I know where I'm at. I see everybody laying down. I could get up and use the restroom. And then I can lay
Mm-hmm.
back down and I go right back into it.
Okay.
You're completely aware. And even when I'm in it and I see all these things, I know where I'm at. I'm like, I'm
Mm-hmm.
here in Costa Rica and in Maloka, and this is fucking crazy. That's
Mm-hmm.
what I kept saying to myself. And then every so often I started to smile, and I was like, it's almost like your higher self is talking to you. I don't know what else to explain God, source, you're having a conversation with. I want to say it's my higher self talking to me, but I remember a
Okay.
couple of times smiling, like smiling really big, and I'm asking myself, what the hell are you smiling about? Like, what is
Okay.
it?
So that
Like,
you said seeing the higher power.
yes.
If you were to have that conversation with that higher power, if you could learn the answer to one question about your future question, what would it be?
Well, that's the thing. You can't like some people have conversations like that. I didn't have like a conversation where I'm like, hey,
No, I'm saying if you could have that conversation, like if you had that
what would I
conversation,
ask?
what what would that question be about your future?
Well, I wasn't asking about my future, but I you have to go in with an intention. They're really big on that. You cannot just go there and lay there and take the medicine and be like, okay, let me go on a trip because that's not what it's about. Most people go there because they have something they need to work on, whether it's something
Mm-hmm.
childhood, trauma, depression, anxiety, whatever it is. So my intention was the sadness that I was feeling. Like, why do I always feel so sad inside? My
So that
heart.
would be your question.
Yeah. So
Okay.
that was my question, and I didn't. It wasn't like I had the question answered. I just things were flashing. So the only thing I could picture were the things that were coming in front of me were things that I needed to resolve in my life.
Mm-hmm. So in that moment for you, like when obviously may have felt like time froze for you. if time was, was to freeze for you right now, like literally at this moment as we're on this podcast, and for one day, the whole day freezes, what would you do?
If the whole day freezes?
If the whole world, I'm getting your head. You gotta go back down.
Sorry, I was just.
Okay, yeah. If the whole world was to freeze today, like when you see the Matrix and everything stops,
Yeah.
and you were that only movement of Neo that was continuing to keep moving,
Yeah.
what would you do? What would the first thing you would do if the rest of the world froze and you could still keep moving? What would you do?
By myself in the world?
You could do whatever. You could do whatever you want. Like everything else around you was stopped, and you had a choice to say, okay, it's almost like take the red pill, take the blue pill. If you could do anything in that moment, the rest of the world has been frozen. It hasn't moved. It hasn't. Nothing else is going on, and you could do one thing. What would be that first thing you would do?
I think what I would really do is I would want to give everybody some food and shelter when they woke up. Like when they got out of whatever they were frozen, and then they were like, wow, and almost like Christmas. So they
Okay.
wake up and they're like, wow, where did all this food come from? Where did this shelter come from? Where did all this love come from?
Mm-hmm.
I think that is what I would do, because there's just so many people without so much. I think that I would want to give to a lot of people that don't have anything. For sure, that's what I would do.
What do you do to get rid of stress?
Meditate. Yeah.
That's your go-to more than working out?
Wouldn't say it's more than working out, but I definitely, it is increasing more and more. Like I'll do easily an hour. No
Okay.
problem.
What is something that is extremely popular now in society that annoys you?
What annoys me is Instagram sometimes, how fake it is, and
Mm-hmm.
how everybody's trying to make themselves look like they've got money, perfect family.
Perfect
It doesn't even
relationship.
look real anymore. It doesn't, it almost looks like everything's been photoshopped and everything is like picture perfect. And that is not how life is. It is so not real. And everything is about money,
Mm-hmm.
making money, being
Mm-hmm.
successful.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I'm so tired of it. Like, I honestly want to move to an island and live very, very simply.
What is success to you?
Huh?
Because you said everyone's trying to be successful, look successful. What is
Success,
success to you?
success to me is making sure that everybody in my family and friends around me know that I love them. And success to me is just living my life to the fullest. It's not
Nick.
necessarily about making money. Now, do we need to make money? Of course we need to make money, because
Mm-hmm.
without money we wouldn't be living. But I don't think it's the most important thing. For me, I just want to, that's why I'm in real estate. I got into real estate because I want to eventually build homes to help homeless or people in like Costa Rica, places where they don't have food and water and shelter.
Mm-hmm.
That's eventually where I'm going to head towards, because I'm definitely changed so much in the last 2 years.
Name one thing you're obsessed with.
What I'm obsessed with, I would have to say working out. I mean, there's nothing else that I would be more obsessed with, except maybe meditating is coming up there.
For someone who doesn't, and the people that are on right now, for someone was to meet you today for the first time, because remember you said, for you when you're meeting somebody, like you like the fact of hearing what other people have to say about that person. So for you, what 3 words or three words to best describe you?
Caring. Um, I push everybody around me. I don't mean push, I mean like push them up. um, and I'm giving, very giving.
Name the most beautiful place you've ever been.
Hawaii.
What's the most relaxing place you've ever been?
Costa Rica.
Give me what word or saying from the past do you think should come back?
A word that should come back?
Mm-hmm. You know how back in the day we all had different types of slangs and certain words
You
and
know what
things.
was in my time? Far
Yeah.
out.
So put that into a sentence.
Um, wow, that's so far out. Like you're so far out. I don't know. That was just a word that they used when I was younger.
What was the last movie you watched?
Hmm. God, I don't have TV. Um,
Do you even watch it on your phone?
no, I never.
You don't watch TV, film, like nothing?
Years.
So what do you do to relax besides meditation? Because that's
Honestly,
just like
I'm working a lot of the time, and
I'm gonna start calling you Buddha.
you know what? I'm just trying to be present. I know that this all sounds corny, that people are like, oh yeah, you know, she's sitting here saying like all these things like save the world and all this stuff, but I'm telling you, you'll change when you start working on your inner self. My perspective on everything has changed. I try to spend a lot of time in the moment. A lot of times I don't even listen to music anymore. I just try to be in the moment that I'm in and appreciate everything that I'm doing at that moment, whether it's eating, working out, when I'm driving in my car, I don't even listen to music, you know, like I used to. I'm actually trying to listen to other things like sounds.
But how is that when you? I mean, you're a trainer. Isn't that part of like the whole thing of getting in motivation of like working up to energetic music and stuff like that? Like, do
Oh,
you
when I'm
not listen to
working out, I listen to music, but I'm saying like
that?
when I'm in my car, like I used to be
Okay.
one of those people that the moment I got in my car, rap, I was just listening to rap, like loud and like I don't even remember driving to where my destination. I just remember
Mm-hmm.
listening to a song. That's all I remember. I don't
Mm-hmm.
remember the actual ride, you know, and I I stopped listening to music in my car and just started listening to life going on around me. I saw a bird the other day that came onto the freeway and landed in the middle of the divider. And I was like, wow, did anybody see that bird that just flew in front of all of us and landed on the center divide? Not one person. Everybody's like robot mode.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm just trying to be a little bit more present. That's all, you know?
Name if someone was to not know you, what secret talent would you have? So nobody would know.
Secret what?
Secret talent. Like something you do that no one knows that they would be surprised that you have as a talent.
Um, I know how to braid hair. I'm really good with hair, believe it or not.
Is there a song that you say I know you don't listen to music, but is there a song that puts you in a good mood? Name of a song that puts you in a good mood?
Yeah, I'm listening to music right now. It's called Dan It, but it's very spiritual. um, yeah, that's the artist. It's called Dan It.
Is there a song right now that makes you cry? Like if you have one song right now that whenever you hear it, like I know what my song is, but if you have a song that like as soon as you hear it, you just get emotional.
Yeah,
What's that song?
it's
And who's the artist?
the artist is a Jeep, and it's
A
called The
Jeep?
Cure. Yeah, a
Okay.
Jeep. This is all spiritual stuff. Yeah, her name's Ajit, and I love all her music. But she has a song called A Cure, and that song makes me cry.
For you, being a woman who I've seen, who knows how to dress when she's not in fitness gear, what is a fashion trend that you're really glad that went away?
I would fashion.
Mm-hmm.
Um, oh, those striped pants that we used to wear to the gym that the guys would wear. Those striped, like everything was striped, baggy pants, striped baggy
Okay.
pants.
What is the most comfortable piece of clothing you own?
My sweats.
What is the most ridiculous thing that you've ever spent money on?
God, the most ridiculous thing. I just recently spent money on something, a program that I'm in, and I wasted my money
Why did you feel that? Why did you feel you wasted it?
because I'm not happy with the program and the way they're having us do stuff. So I wasted a bunch of money on it.
So you being a goddess, being a sex symbol, being, you know, the queen herself, Ursula Alberto, what is the funniest pickup line you've ever had used on you?
How much do you bench press?
How much do you bench press, actually?
I don't even bench press. That's the funny thing. I don't bench press.
So how do you keep such like muscular arms all the
I
time?
mean, I train other body parts, but I don't bench press. Like, how many girls do you see bench press? It's like,
I know.
I mean, I'll do dumbbells and I'll do flies,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not bench pressing. I don't even think I can bench press a lot. But it's funny because I've been asked that a lot. Like, how much do you bench press? I'm like, how much do you bench press? It's always a small, skinny guy asking me.
If you could get on the phone right now and call up anyone in the world for an hour conversation, who would you call? Anybody in the world, past, living, or present.
God, oh my God, I can't think of names right now.
Living or dead.
Tony Robbins.
Why Tony Robbins?
Because he's a very great motivational speaker, and he's very positive, and he knows a lot about business. I would pick his brain.
So that would go into my next question then.
Mm-hmm.
And would it be the same answer or a different answer? If you could sit on a flight next to somebody for a 10-hour flight, who would it be? And why?
Ram Dass, spiritual guy, but he's died.
Okay.
He died. Yeah, I would like to sit on a plane with him and pick his brain too about spirituality.
Why him? Why him? Out of all people in the world, why him?
He's not the only one. He's just one of many that I look up to. Just intelligent. Wim Hof too. You know Wim Hof?
No.
The Iceman that goes in the ice.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I think he's one of the most incredible guys. I do ice baths, so I have a lot of respect for him. He just did one the other day for like 60 minutes. I'm like, what? 60 minutes on his birthday? Yeah, I think he's an incredible person. He's made it through a lot of trauma in his life.
Who is your favorite entertainer, either comedian, music, actor, etc.?
Well, you know, I have to say Sean.
Sean?
He's one of the funniest guys ever.
Obviously, yeah.
Yeah.
If you had a personal mascot to be Ursula Alberta, what type of mascot would it be?
A mascot?
Yeah, like when you go to the game and you got a baseball game and you've got like those mascots that dress up and like, or an NBA game and you obviously see those mascots in different costumes in football games. What type of mascot would play you?
A leopard.
A leopard? Why a leopard?
Because they're fast.
What is the most craziest, outrageous thing you want to achieve that someone said to you was unachievable?
I don't know if it's unachievable, but that I would like to.
Like, a lot of people say that will never happen. You're just dreaming. You can't do that. Like,
yeah.
People who get into our business, even as actors or performers, are like, that's a pipe dream. You can't do that. But then we do it anyway, and then they're like, okay. So for you, like, is there something there that the craziest, most outrageous thing that you said to yourself, like, either I always wanted to do that was self-doubt, but you know that if you actually like focused on it and you did it, you could do it to the best of your ability. Like, what would that thing be?
Yeah, that's what I was talking about, helping the homeless with the building of homes. Yeah. I have it on my vision board. 1 bedroom, like not apartments, but 1 bedroom houses in a community for homeless.
So is that what you hope? That's what you hope
Yeah,
to like to achieve as your biggest accomplishment in your professional life?
for sure. Yeah. I mean, to be able to help people and have a community just for them of a place where that they can live. Yeah. And not this housing that they have, their own place.
So, lastly, because we got to wrap up here. Lastly, in the sense for you, like, what's next for Ursula, Alberta? What's the goals that are on your bucket list that that you have not crossed off that list yet?
More traveling. Yeah.
Hopefully, we can all be doing more fucking traveling this
I
damn
know,
COVID
right?
shit.
No, and I'm talking about like going to other countries. You know, yeah, I just want to travel the world, honestly. This later part of my life, I want to do more traveling. I've been doing traveling a lot lately, but I do want to do a lot more. Um, and just slow up. I mean, eventually I mean, I've already started doing mini little retreats, helping people.
Hmm.
Psilocybin still isn't legal here, so, but I am helping people with that. And yeah, I feel like my calling now is to help people with their mental health and depression, anxiety. So many people going through it. It's crazy.
What's
Um,
the for you like? What do you feel for yourself? All the things you've
well,
had to endure in life, pain, go through. What do you feel was the biggest struggle, biggest thing that you had to overcome?
the biggest thing I had to overcome, raising my kids alone, leaving that relationship. I mean, every relationship's hard, but
Hmm.
I would have to say that that one was probably the hardest because well, every relationship's hard, but that one was hard because I had to take kids away from their father.
And it's a hard decision for anybody to make. But I mean, do you? I think that to me, I've always said, kids or no kids, your happiness, regardless of your situation, regardless of how many kids you have, it has to come first.
Of
Because
course. And
if
that's
you
why I did what I did. But, I mean, you say what was the hardest thing? I think that was the hardest thing, because getting out of a relationship, you know that there will be a next. You know what I'm
hmm
saying? But when you're getting out of a relationship and it's not just that it's affecting you, but now you know it's going to affect other people,
hmm
that's hard because even though you think you're doing the right thing, you always question because you're making a decision for other people as well.
hmm
And that is difficult.
no, and it definitely is. I mean, but to me, it's a testament of your strength. It's a testament of who you are. So, like for lastly, for people who you know are watching this and coming to the end of this per se, number one, what is the one thing that if people who only obviously see you physically on you know the internet, they see you in the hot outfits and working out and training and perfect body, what's the one thing that people have a misconception about you that they don't know and that you would want to tell them for somebody that doesn't know you?
Well, first of all, nobody knows me. It I'm not real. I mean, what I have on Instagram is not real. None of ours is real. We're not
Define
post
what you mean by that.
we're not posting our worst photo. We're not posting what we look like every single day. We really aren't. We're posting the best of the best of the best. I mean, you don't think that when I'm posting my workouts that I'm posting the best angle. I mean, if it's not a good angle, I'm not posting it. That's how everybody is. Nobody really, truly, truly
But isn't that
knows
more
me.
because of your business?
Huh?
Isn't that more because it's your business
Of
and you're
course. I
promoting your?
mean, I'm in the business of making money just like everybody else. But what I'm saying is, there's very, very few people that really actually know me. Very few. And
See,
those people are still in my life. Even maybe I don't talk to them all the time, but
Hmm.
It's usually people that have been in my life for a long time who really, really know me. I don't let a lot of people close to me. But I guess what they wouldn't know about me is they wouldn't know anything about me because, as you see, I don't even talk on my Instagram. I know
Which I've told you
you've been
over and
trying
over
to get me
again.
to talk on my Instagram for so long, and I don't because, to be honest, I'm shy. I mean, really am. I'm shy, and it's and then there's that other aspect of like my privacy, you know. I
Hmm.
already feel like I have my life out there, I have my kids out there, and that's one thing I do respect about Sean is he's very private, you know.
Hmm.
It's hard nowadays to be private, especially with a business, you know.
Hmm.
And I always say, okay, today I'm going to start, I'm going to get on Instagram and I'm going to talk. And I just don't, you know.
But you did today, and
I
I'm
did
grateful
today. I
that you
did
spent
today.
2.5 hours with me on the show. And to
Yeah.
me, this is why I wanted you on the show, because I've said to you before, like, I don't, like, you are an incredible woman. You're one of the most fascinating, beautiful, strong, vibrant women that I know that's in my life. And I think that what I love about you and getting to know you is, you know, I've gotten to know the side of you, the authentic truth of who you are off camera.
Yeah.
And
We've had some
and
long
this is
talks.
and this is where for me I'm like, I think for any woman and any person out there, you know, why I want you to be on it is that you know exactly that. It's like we all live through struggles.
Hmm.
We all face our own demons. We all face our own things. And I always say, you know, it didn't take coronavirus for people to start wearing masks because a lot of people were wearing their fucking masks their whole life,
I was
hiding
wearing a
behind that
mask.
mask.
I was wearing a mask most of my life, as we all
Mm-hmm.
are. But most people don't even know that they're wearing it. That's this thing. They
Yep.
don't even know that they're wearing a mask. You know, it isn't until you go into yourself and start working on yourself to be a better human being on this planet,
Mm-hmm.
you will not know. You're just going to
I,
follow the herd just like everybody else and doing what everybody else is doing. You know, I am no longer following the herd. I am no longer wearing my mask. Mm-mm.
I think we. That's the thing. I think we. I've always said we live in a world full of sheep. You know, everything that's even going on right now in society. You know, whether you're for a mask, whether you're against the mask, whether you're for taking the virus vaccine, or whether you're not taking the virus vaccine, whether you're for this politician, whether you're for that politician. But at the end of the day, it doesn't fucking
It
matter
doesn't
because
even
all what
matter.
matters is how you live your life for you and how you treat others. You know, and if you look after yourself and look at the people that you love and you go about that formula, life is a lot less stressful and complicated, but it's always where we're in this situation where it's like, and as I said, social media, you know, in this era has given people the right to exercise their opinions when it wasn't asked for.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, and I was someone like, look, like if you're for that, that's cool. You're entitled to that, but just don't bring that shit to me if I didn't ask for it. And if we're gonna have a conversation about something, like me and you are having right now, I always tell them like, look, I'm always up for a good debate. I'm always up for a good conversation.
Mm.
But you better come with facts. Don't just be spewing shit that you're fucking spewing because you what you have because for me,
Everybody's an
I'm a
expert
fat guy.
now.
Exactly. I'm a fat guy in the sense of and I'm a fat guy not because of the fact of where I claim to know everything.
Hmm.
But for me, I've been around enough things, bad things, good things, but more bad things in my life that I've taken those experiences and I've learned from them and I've grown from them. And I try to use that word to me where we come into a thing of like where I'm right, you're wrong. There is no right and wrong, period.
Mm. Yeah.
It's you have your points, you have your views, I have mine, and we're not always going to agree on everything, but it's about respecting each other's opinion
Yeah.
to say, okay, hey, I may not, agree with that, but I understand. But what I get pissed off about, it's like even for example, like dealing with being a black man in society, dealing with watching what happened to George Floyd and watching those 9 minutes. Understand, I have been in the exact same position when I was 15 years old with an officer on my neck, kneeling down on my neck with 3 other cops, kneeling on my leg, my back, where I could not fucking breathe. And yes, thankfully, they got off of me. But understand, in that situation, when I watched George Floyd's life get taken from him, for me, and this is where people seem to forget or really just don't pay attention. This is not about a black issue. It's not about a white issue. It's not about a Spanish issue. It's a human issue.
Yes, it's a human
And what
issue.
happened to George Floyd could happen to me.
Yep.
Could happen to you. Could happen to every person watching this fucking podcast. Because, and it's just like when someone asked me before, like, you know, do I ever feel, or did I ever feel, you know, racism towards me? Of course I have. Deal with it every fucking day.
Yeah.
Deal with it my whole life.
Yeah.
The only difference between me and other people is that I don't necessarily talk about it,
Right.
but I don't ignore that it's not there. And I don't ignore the experiences that I've gone through. But what I get pissed off about is, even throughout this whole trial, this whole situation, is where I have people of the opposite color of my skin tone trying to always do, as I said, what the media did, what they did throughout the trial, where whenever anything happens with a person of my color, you being of mixed race, being Latin and black, is where you get, well, if he wasn't doing this, that wouldn't happen. If they weren't on drugs, that wouldn't have happened. If they weren't doing this 10 years ago, that wouldn't have happened. Or if he had just complied, that wouldn't have happened. And I'm like, look, until you have been, even taking, you know, what happened to that kid who got shot by Kim Potter, where she was like, I mistook my gun for a taser. And I'm like, okay, if you've been on the force for 26 years, you're a decorated officer, you're a decorated veteran, and you make a mistake where you don't know the difference after 26 years between a gun and a taser, you probably shouldn't have had both to begin with.
Right.
Period. Second, a kid at 20 years old, yes, he had a warrant. But did he have a warrant? They said, oh, people say, oh, he had a warrant. He was wanted for, you know, robbing somebody. I don't give a fuck. Because understand, the reason why they pulled him over, the reason why, number one, they had stopped him in the first place.
Because his color.
Well, not just because of his color. They stopped him first because he had air freshener. Then it was like he had expired tags. Then they ran those tags and found he had a warrant. And the reason why he had a warrant, because of COVID, everything's mailed.
Right. It takes forever now, everything.
So the mail that was going to his house for his court appearance went to the wrong address. He never got it. Somebody else got it. So understand, when someone says, well, if he had just complied, I'll tell you a true story of myself. When I was 14 years old, that same Pacific type of situation where I got jacked up by cops. Then I had to go to court. Then I was sick, and I couldn't go to court that day. And I was a young offender, so I had to get an adult to go there for me and speak for me. So I sent this adult, because I'm in the hospital, and I'm like, I can't go to the courthouse. And it was just an appearance, because when you go there on your first appearance, it's just to basically set a date. That's all you're doing. Go in there and talking, hey, what do you plead? Guilty or not guilty? You don't really have to be there. If your lawyer goes for you, he go, but I needed someone to go. So I sent someone there. But then what happened was he went there, and the information that was sent to me in the paperwork saying your appearance is on this date, it was the wrong date. It got mixed up in the courts. So 2 days go by, I don't hear from my guy. But I'm not thinking anything of it because it was just there to go to an appearance. I'm like, so I get a hold of him, like, hey, did you go? And he was like, oh, I went there, and they said it was the wrong date. So he didn't know. He didn't really like discuss it with me. He was just like, well, they told me it was the wrong date. And that was it. And I walked out. All of a sudden, 2 days after that, I get a call from the police. And they're like, we have a warrant out for your arrest. What the fuck are you talking about? They're like, we have a warrant out for your arrest because you failed to appear. I was like 15 years old.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, well, they're like, well, I said, well, I know that my date was on this date. They said, no, you missed it. And I'm like, well, this is not what the paperwork says. So then they're like, okay, don't worry about it. And again, these cops will play. They're all cool and nice. And again, I'm a kid, 15. He's like, yeah, don't worry about it. You know, can you get your parents to, you know, to bring you? And I was like, I'm on my own. Like, I live on my own.
Oh.
I was homeless. So I'm like, I don't have them around.
Yeah.
So they said, well, can you get somebody, adult to bring you? I said, I don't have a ride. I don't drive. I'm 15. So he was like, okay, well, no worries. What date would you want to, let us come pick you up. So I'm like, this cop's just being a little bit overly nice, but I'm like, hey, this is I never dealt with police. This is my first time as a young offender being in a situation where I'm like a stupid kid. We all made dumb choices when we're stupid kids.
Yeah.
Mine was making a stupid choice. So the cop's like, okay, well, I'll come pick you up on Wednesday. So he comes down to my place on Wednesday, picks me up, he goes, you're just going to be in and out. It's all going to be good. We're going to go down to the courthouse. We're going to file the paper, and then you'll be out of here. So we make this drive down to the courthouse. As soon as we get to the courthouse, he's like, okay, I'm going to have to put you in cuffs. This procedure. Okay, so we put me in cuffs. Brings me into a holding cell. Brings me into a room. Sits me down. Next thing you know, hours go by. Like hours upon hours upon hours. I'm sitting in this room. Next thing you know, they bring me into the courthouse, in front of the judge. And remember, I'm 15 years old. I have no idea anything about court. I'm there by myself. I told my parents, I'm just going to be back in an hour.
Oh, shit.
It's now been 7 hours that have gone by. I haven't spoken to them. They haven't spoken to me. They don't know where I'm at. Next thing you know, I got like those duty counsels, the court-appointed attorneys. They're not your lawyer because I couldn't afford an attorney.
Right, you're 15.
So I get the duty counsel, and he starts reading off numbers. Case number, blah, 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 case number, blah, 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 blah. And what I'm there for was for a broken window. So what happened was I had some property that was stolen from me when I was 15. And I went with my friends to get it at this guy's house because he calls us, I have your property. So we show up to the guy's house, but he basically scammed us. He sent us to a wrong house. So we're arguing with this guy at the door, and we're like, yo, I know my property's in here. You called me. You said that my property's in the house. Like, I don't have your property. And on his door, when we walked up, it was one of those old school houses where you got to open a door to then walk in and then walk into the house. It's got a little canopy part. So on the window, there was a crack. And he slammed the door. And as soon as he slammed the door, the whole glass shattered. Like it just smashed. And I was like, oh, well, not my fucking problem. And me and my boy, we turned around. As soon as we turned around, SWAT, guns, everything, like in our faces. Wow. So imagine being 15 years old, never been in trouble, never seen a gun except on TV. Now pointing with rifles in your face, ready to kill you. Put yourself in that situation at 15 years old. Are you not going to be scared?
Of course.
Are you not going to be fearful for your life?
Yeah.
Are you not going to be nervous and panicky? Next thing you know, I'm getting draped down to the ground, knee on my neck, all these things that led me to being in this courthouse today. Remember, I'm there so they charged me with mischief over 500. First, it was like a bunch of charges because my friend who was driving, his dad worked in a construction site. So in his back seat, I didn't know this because we were driving. The cops open up his car trunk. And he's got an axe, a crowbar, like all these construction tools. So the cop's like, what are all these for? I'm like, I don't fucking know. It's not my car. He's like, were you trying to break into this house? And then the guy comes out and he's like, oh, and this is before the term Karen was around. This was like a male Karen. He was like, yeah, these black guys tried to break into my house and they smashed my window and they were trying to kill me. And we're like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? Like, you broke your own goddamn window. You smashed your window by slamming the door in our face. And these tools that were in the back seat, we never even brought them out. Because we didn't know they were I didn't know they were in the back seat. And again, it was my friend's dad driving his dad's car with all his work tools in it. So next thing you know, that when the cops took us down to the station that day, they originally had charged us with like weapons dangerous, attempted assault, like all these things that didn't happen. And then they tried to pit us against each other, me and my friend. They put me in one room, him in another room.
Oh, wow.
So they're basically saying to him in one room, you know, flip on your friend. He did this.
Yeah.
We had been to the routine. We knew what was up. We knew that they were going to try to do what they always do. Paint us as the angry black man, the criminal. Because understand, in society, we are looked at as three things: athletes, entertainers, or criminals. Like when you look at our culture, that's what we are to the average society. So here I am, 15 years old in this courthouse for this one broken glass charge. And all of a sudden, this duty counselor, he's reading off numbers. And I'm like, it's a lot of motherfucking numbers for like one charge. But I didn't know what these numbers meant.
Of course, yeah.
Next thing you know, they're like, so Mr. Lamb has been, who? My last name's not Lamb.
Oh, they got you mixed up with somebody else.
I'm like, what is going on here? So the duty counsel, he's flipping through. He said, and it's like, you know, this is why I always tell people, when you're a black man and you've ever been in those situations and you have to go to court, know when to run when you walk into a room with a guy with a messy suit. He's got a messy suit, sloppy looking, you know, all that stuff. You're probably not going to be not handled properly. And this is what happened. This guy was a mess.
Right.
So next thing you know, I'm on a bus, handcuffed to like 15 real criminals, getting sent to a detention center. And all of these things are happening that I have no control over. But the minute I went into that situation, and eventually it got thrown out and we got everything fixed, and I ended up suing them. But understand, in that moment of 15 years old, I made a decision. I made a bad one, and I paid for it, and I dealt with the consequences for it.
Yeah.
And I learned from that situation, and I grew.
Right.
Should I be held for something that I did when I was 15 years old?
Of course
now?
Not.
But this is, again, this is society. What happened with George Floyd, what happened with many other individuals who have gone through these situations myself, what makes me angry is the first thing that people want to do is judge someone.
Yeah.
By what they've done in their past. Judge someone based on the fact of where, it's just like you made a decision when you got cheated on to cheat back because you were hurt. That was your way of lashing out. Does that make you a non-trustworthy person for the rest of your life?
No.
Or a cheater for the rest?
No, of course not. Because we all change, you know. I mean, we're not the same people we were 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. You know what I mean? So,
except to our society, though, because you being ethnic, me being ethnic, to the rest of the world, 90% of the time, it's like we don't change to them. Like, because you got to remember, like, we're not put in positions of, like, even for example, you being in real estate, you being personal trainer, you doing all these things, opportunities with your skill set, especially in the fitness world, should be just being thrown at you because you're so good at what you do. Like, there's no question about it. I mean, to look as good as you do after 3 kids, I'm like, yo, I'll marry your fucking shit. Like, put me in that room. Because again, it's like, but you are a person who put the time and put the work to change and better your life. But are you presented with the same opportunities of someone that doesn't look like you or judge you because of the fact that you've got 3 kids? These are all things that we live in society, and unfortunately that it's so frustrating that we can't just look at human beings and people, just people.
I know, but it's not. I mean, it's not going to change in our lifetime. Sorry,
True.
It's not. You know, I mean, we can only do the best we can for ourselves. Like I said a million times, we can only change ourselves, and through changing ourselves, we change people around us. And that's the beginning of changing a planet, you know. I mean, we've all made mistakes. We've all done other people wrong. Um, but it's just being aware of the things that you have done or that, you know, that you can change. Um, yeah, I'm not the person I was a year ago. I'm not even the person I was a few months ago, you know.
Mm-hmm. And
So,
with and now we'll leave it at that. No,
mhm.
Ursula, it has been an absolute privilege, an honor. I absolutely adore and love you. I think you are an amazing source of energy. I think that, you know, for you, the best is yet to come. I think that you have a lot of gifts to give to the world. I definitely feel at times you sell yourself short, that you don't give yourself enough credit for the woman that you are, and that you have not lived to your fullest potential. But as you say, every day is growth.
Mhm.
Every day you're not the same person as you were yesterday, and nothing will make me happier to see you win at life and win at everything, because I know your heart. I know your character. I know you are who you are as a person. I know of the type of mother you are. And any person who has, as you said, that doesn't know you, but does get the privilege to get to know this woman and, you know, see, don't just look on the outside layer, really see her, really pay attention, really get to know you. You will find someone that will make your life better, that will make you a better person. And with that, I just want to say that it's been an honor to have you on as a guest this week. It's been a long time coming for this.
I know.
I think for and I think that, you know, hopefully people will be inspired by your story and realize that, you know what, every setback is just a temporary setback to a major comeback.
Of course.
So
We all have
for
the
you,
ability to change anything in our life.
what would you lastly want to leave as a final thought to your fans and viewers out there watching?
I mean, like say, and what I've been saying a lot lately on my Instagram is just you have to work on your inner self. We all have to, because our inner wounds is what's why society is the way it is. You know, it comes from within ourselves. And you just have to keep working on your inner self. Just be a better human being.
So before you go, I want to leave you to do a plug for us. So basically, I want you to give your title of your name, what you do, and then at the end of it, you're going to say, "Hi, this is Ursula Alberto, either fitness trainer, real estate, like whatever your title is." You can find me right here on HotTopicsCelebTV.com.
Oh
Then you're going to do
no.
a second
You
one.
could ask me
Then you're
to
going to do,
talk.
yes, then you're going to do a second one, and it's going to be, "Hi, this is Ursula Alberto, fitness model. You can find me right here on Dteflon.com. So Dteflon, just like my name, but .com. So the first one you'll do is Hot Topics Celeb TV. Hi, this is Ursula Alberto, real estate agent, fitness model, fitness trainer, whatever you want to do it off the cut.
Hot
And
topics
as long
what?
as
Okay.
celebtv.com. So Hot Topics celebtv.com. So when I'll count you down in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hi, this is Ursula Alberto, fitness competitor slash real estate investor on celebs. What?
Cut. Hot Topics. We'll take 2.
I
Hot
knew
Topics.
I was gonna forget. 1 second. 1 second.
Yeah. You want to write it down?
Yes.
Okay. Guys, if you missed this podcast tonight, make sure you join us
Please don't put
on
me on the
Saturday
spot.
on Saturday 8 p.m.
Celeb what?
You can find us on Hot Topics Select
Hot top.
TV. Yeah, so hot, same as what this channel is, Hot Topics. So
I know this.
HOTTOPISCS, I should say, celebtv.com. So Hot Topics celebtv.com, and then DTEFLON.com. So Dteflon.com.
Okay, I'm ready now.
Okay, so naturally, take your breath, take a deep breath. I'm gonna count you down.
We're gonna have to say it like 10 times.
Okay, so I'm gonna count you down in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, action.
Hi, this is Ursula Alberto, fitness trainer and real estate investor on HotTopicsCelebTV.com.
And the second one I'm gonna say is that this is Ursula Alberto. Same thing. You can find me
Oh,
right here on Dteflon.com.
okay.
Do the same thing. So do the same thing for Hot Topic Celeb TV, and then the same thing for Dteflon.com. You can find me right here on HotTopicsCelebTV.com, and then you can find me right here on Dteflon.com. So the same thing. You do it once, then we'll do it twice. Okay.
Okay.
You ready? You ready?
Ready?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, action.
Hi, this is Ursula Alberto, fitness trainer slash real estate investor. You can find me here on HotTopicsCelebTV.com.
Correct. Now the second one, the exact same thing. Same thing. You're going to say you're going to change from HotTopicsCelebTV.com to Dteflon.com.
Okay.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, action.
Hi, this is Ursula Alberto, fitness trainer slash real estate investor. You can find me here on Dteflon.com.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you guys who all tuned in tonight. Ursula, has been a privilege and an honor. I look forward to having you back sometime again for another conversation.
Yeah.
Hopefully you enjoyed yourself this evening and letting the world get to know you. And hopefully you guys will tune in, of course. You can find us on YouTube. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Follow this. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you hit the follow button here. You can follow me at DTEFLON. Ursula, where can people who want to find you or want to train with you, where can they find you?
Well, Instagram, on Facebook, and I'm on LinkedIn, but I'm never really on there that much.
What's your social?
Ursula Alberto. Everything's Ursula Alberto.
Twitter, Facebook, Instagram?
Yes, but I'm not on Twitter.
Okay. All right, guys. So I want to thank you guys for joining us tonight. This is another edition, and we welcome you guys and hope you guys enjoyed the show. Ursula,
thank you.
Thank you. I love you.
Love
We'll
you
talk
too.
soon.
Okay.
Okay.